Hi, and welcome to Why Australia. I'm Lisa Rossmeissl, owner of Boomerang Escapes and your certified Aussie travel specialist. I've been popping in and visiting you on Sunday afternoons to share all the wonderful things about Australia and why you should travel there. We've been focusing on the Northern Territory, and we're going to continue to stay there as we move through the month of September. Oh my gosh, and we're halfway through. As always, we like to get started with a little Aussie lingo lesson. One of my favorite books from a friend and colleague that she gave me. So they do have a lot of slang, a lot of rhyming, a lot of unique words, some of them incorporated from the indigenous culture of the Aboriginals. So today's word is boomer. Boomer can be a large male kangaroo, something impressive, a great success, or it can even mean a large crashing wave. In general, you will most often see it referred to as the kangaroo, but it can be used in several fashions. Again, impressive, great success, or a large crashing wave. So that's our word of the week. You can find the Aussie lingo lesson in the section of our weekly e-zine. Hopefully you are on our email list and getting our adventure newsletter. It is not strictly just about Australia. The Boomerang Escapes is a full service leisure travel agency, so we do cover lots of destinations across the world and share our tips and travels, favorite itineraries and whatnot. If you'd like to be added to the list, please drop me a message or comment below, and I'd be happy to get you on that. So as I said, we're back in the Northern Territory. You should know by now it's that middle section there in the back of my map on me. And I had a fabulous experience myself back in 2015 to experience the lower end of the Northern Territory. Some of these we've already covered, like Uluru, Kings Canyon, Alice Springs. Well, I want to go into a little more detail, especially if you are an active adventure seeker and really like to be outdoors. Something that I got to do that I would highly recommend for an experience here, to really be hands-on and experiencing the outback and the features, the geographical features of this land here. This is a wonderful opportunity to do it while you're here. It can be done in a fast pace. What probably many of you don't realize, when we go down for training, we do experience the destination, but usually just a bit faster than I would necessarily recommend for my clients. Though I know some of you out there are like, go, 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 and I'm happy to do that. This experience here is going to involve gaps, gorges, canyons, holes. It was probably my most active and physical experience. It did begin in Uluru. And from Uluru, we did go out to the Kings Canyon, and we did the climb and hike around the canyon. We did a stop at Carrick Aboriginal Park, but then we moved on to Alice Springs. And the things I'm going to talk to you about today are available to access from Alice Springs. So whether you want to do them one at a time over a course of the day, or you can string them together because they're only maybe 45 minutes each apart, 50 kilometers apart. They're not really that far. Where they are located in the West MacDonnell Ranges. So this is traveling out from Alice Springs. It's easy. It can be busy during peak season. But otherwise, it's a fabulous experience. I did it in the month of, let me just double check, August. I did it at the end of August, which is the tail end of winter, which was a wonderful time, clothing-wise, good comfortable shoes. I think I just had my runners, my tennis shoes on, jeans, I had a lightweight cotton long sleeve tee, and then I layered with one of the fleece vests just for the change in temperature throughout the day. So very great time to go there. And as I said, so springing off from the park, now this can all be done in one day, which is what we did, or it can be spread out if you're using Alice Springs. Again, Alice Springs is right here on our map. So we're back down here. You've got Uluru, the canyon, but Alice Springs is right here. We're going to go up into the MacDonnell Ranges. But first, a great stop outside of Alice Springs, and may do a separate little video on this later in the course of the Why Australia's on Sunday with you, is the Alice Springs Desert Park. It's a great place. It's interactive, learn about the Aboriginal culture, learn about the indigenous wildlife, see the wildlife. It's a great walking experience. There's a wonderful bird show. But we started there in the morning, which was kind of relaxing, you know, kind of like visiting, you know, an outdoor animal park. But then from there, mid-morning, we headed out to those ranges to do some exploring of nature. We started, our first stop was Simpsons Gap. The Simpsons Gap is surrounded by towering cliffs. Let me move this down. It's one of the known best for its walking track, so you can walk through Simpsons Gap to the waterhole. Keep an eye out for the elusive black-footed rock wallabies. They really blend in. It becomes a game trying to spot them, and they are very hard to spot. I've saw more probably when I was in Western Australia than when I was here in the Northern Territory, where you're looking for those wallabies, and it's amazing the spaces they can get in. But Simpsons Gap is a first stop, and not far, like I said, probably moving on maybe 50 kilometers, you can move on to Stanley Chasm. Here you can take a walk along the stony watercourse and take in rich plant and bird life along the way. There is a spot there in Inkerl that you can have lunch. Again, just lovely. I'm going to try and share maybe some of the photos, or if you're watching Australia Travel Expert page, I know I have some of those photos popping up over in the next course of the weeks of my experience here doing this kind of hiking and climbing adventure day outside of Alice Springs. Our next stop, so we did Simpsons Gap, then we did Stanley Chasm, and from Stanley Chasm we went on to Ormiston's Gorge. Ormiston's Gorge and Pound feature some of the most spectacular scenery in West MacDonnell Ranges. A great way to experience this is to follow one of the many marked walking tracks. There's a permanent water hole in the gorge, which is great for swimming in the warmer months. And again, looking for those black-footed rock wallabies that are up in the rock ledges. And usually the best time to spot them is at dusk. The permanent water hole, another permanent water hole is at Ellery Creek Big Hole. Ellery Creek Big Hole is a large permanent water hole nestled within the ranges. It is internationally significant geological site. The water hole is formed by a runoff from the ranges. It meets a white sandy beach surrounded by gum trees and dramatic red rock walls. It's a great place for swimming during the summer, and there is a 3-kilometer dolomite walk, which provides an opportunity to view these rock formations. So you can actually swim across to the little sandy island, or bring a float, hang out there, cop a squat on the shore, have a little picnic break, snack break. It was a pretty cool feature. So all of that really has happened in the course. You can do all of that climbing, hiking, walking. Like I said, it's prepare, bring your water bottle, depending on the time of year, bug spray, sun care as well for being outdoors there. But then we can move farther on and go out from there to Glen Helen. Glen Helen is spectacular with a towering sandstone wall greeting you as you arrive. The area includes views of the much painted Mount Sonder, which is one of the highest points in Central Australia. The permanent waterhole at Glenhorde is home to many species of animals, including a variety of water birds and fish. It's a perfect space to explore the West MacDonnell Ranges and the region around it. This is not like a fancy place. This is definitely more campsite-y, not necessarily tent, but definitely it's your bed, sink, toilet. There is a restaurant and bar though on site here at the Glen Helen Homestead Lodge. It makes for a true outback experience, but again, it's going to be geared to that person that's not really looking for a hotel experience, that you definitely are a hiker, backpacker, outdoor enthusiast. It's nothing fancy by any means, but like I said, so combining these two, so like I said, my original thing started in Uluru, and maybe I will put something together and make available for all of you for this kind of a outback Northern I'm having a hard time speaking today, my apologies. Outback Northern Territory physical experience of climbing, like I said, because when we were in Uluru, we were doing the walks around Uluru, around the base of Uluru. We went and did a hike through the Ogles, Kakadu. Then we went out, we did the Kings Canyon, and like I said, from chasms, holes, gaps, gorges, we climbed it all, we hiked it all, and again, beautiful features. One of the pictures that you'll see coming up on the Australia Travel Expert page is the white gum tree. So its bark is all white. Reminds me of our white birches here in the States. So again, if you're really looking for that active experience, Uluru and Alice Springs are not that far apart. You can spend a few nights in Ayers Rock in the resorts there. There's a variety of accommodations to suit every budget. Go out and do the Kings Canyon, even spend a couple nights there. It's really off-grid. I know we have a video on that. I think it's a nice place for couples, especially active adventure. And then combine it with your time in Alice Springs and get out and explore these ranges around Alice Springs. And then, as we talked about a few weeks ago, actually visit the different places in Alice Springs, such as the Royal Doctor's Fly Museum and the School of Air Museum as well, and get a feel for what it's like to be out in fairly desolate, there's not highly populated, and just learn about how this, and hopefully spot some amazing wildlife. That don't forget that desert park, and we'll talk more about the desert park experience in a future video. So take care, have a wonderful Sunday afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Again, this is Lisa Rossmeissl, owner of Boomerang Escapes, certified travel Aussie specialist, and this is Why Australia. Take care.